Hey, how's it going? It's another anime guy. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be watching Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin episode 3. For this video, I don't really have too much to say. A lot has been going on in the last two episodes. A lot. And it seems, I'm pretty sure in the last episode that CASVAL ended up going to the military following Char's Nabo. So we'll see what happens there. And Sailor was pretty much left alone. And pretty sure it was the Texas colony, no? Pretty sure that's what it was. I don't remember exactly, to be honest. Anyways, like always, these videos come out about a week earlier on Patreon. There's a bunch of stuff on there, don't worry about it too much. But yeah, let's get right into this.
CASVAL がテキサスコロニーを出た。ルームからジオに入国すると。殺せ。CASVAL の帰国を許す者などザビ家にはいない。間違っても大君の維持が殺されたなどと世間に感じさせみよう。
It only makes sense.
ちょっと待ってて。僕は修学ビザだから手続きをしてくる。
It makes sense that the Zabi family knew about him. Speaking directly with Cecilia.
107便に乗るならそれしかない。書類カバンもこっちのバッグに入れておくから。そうだ。
And for Char, it looks like such a nice thing he's doing, but man. I feel like even compared to the original series and like what we see now in the Origin, Char in the original series is a lot more charismatic. Like, I mean, CASVAL in the original, just to not like make it confusing sounding. CASVAL in the original series, after he's already taken over the name of Char's Nabo, is his personality isn't the same as Char's, but he is a lot more charismatic like Char is, you know? So I'm guessing he tried to take on that to try and blend in better, but yeah. I feel bad for Char here because to him, like I said, it looks like he's doing a nice thing, helping him catch his flight and be able to get to school on time for the matriculation ceremony, as he said. But CASVAL just setting him up to get caught by the Zabi family instead of him as a decoy. Probably won't. CASVAL really is willing to do anything just to wipe out the Zabi family. And just like that, they swap places, and he's taking over his name. Damn, dude. Obviously, they were going to try and kill him, but I wasn't expecting them to blow up the entire ship, to be honest. I thought it was going to be more of like an assassination type deal, but to make it seem like an accident, of course, to make it seem more like an accident, not like they said, don't make it seem like he was assassinated, or don't let the people know that he died. It'd of course make more sense if they just blew up the entire ship with him. Especially since he's also under a false name, Eduardo Mas.
遅いじゃないか、シャ。
諸君らこそコロニー社会の守護者であるとともに新人類のリーダーなのである。我と我が戦線に加われ。
Interesting to see people from the Federation still here as well.
音楽の校長を拝命しているドズルザビである。今日はここに来賓として連邦宇宙軍のレミル中将閣下が来ておられる。その御前で口にするのもなんだが、俺は音楽の務めがせいぜいコロニー自警団の養成なんかだとは考えていない。続いて新入学生の紹介を行う。名前を呼ばれた者は答えて起立せよ。
君とは同室になるらしい。とんで腐れ縁だな。俺たちなんだか少し変わったな。そうかい。軍人になるんだ。少しは変わらなかった。まあ
I'm surprised no one's saying anything about him wearing sunglasses.
以上265名代表ジオン共和国出身ガルマ・ザビ。はい。
ザビ家の御曹司が代表か。
I don't know what show is up to right now.
誰だペースメーカー3両のシャーズナブル。あいつナイスすごい。
あいつあんなに運動神経良かったかな。
No. Because it's not him.
誰か計算できるものは
Apparently Garmin and Char, according to him, they got along fairly well. They were friends, so.
4A 事情。正解。
どうしたんだあいつ。ハイスクールじゃ俺の方が。
失礼なやつだな君は。どうして僕の計算の邪魔をしたんだ。
邪魔？君が計算に詰まったから助言したつもりだけど。
詰まってなんかいない。謝れ。
そうだよ。謝れよ。どう見たってあれは嫌味だよね。謝れよ、ガルマさんに。
How far is he gonna
だ
fly?
ったら確かに僕がおせっかいだったかもしれない。悪かったね。ごめんよ。
まるで別人になっちゃった。
また10点車。すごい。
いいのか？こっちばかり気にしていると。
これがガルマの成績か。学科は A、実技体育はまあまあ。しかしこのシャアというやつはすごいな。全教科 A、押村区は眼底色素に異常ありか。
シャア、その目はどうしたんだ？
宇宙船にやられた。バイザーをしていないと失明するそうだ。
へえ、そいつは
Oh, that's a good excuse.
鬼なんだったなあ。
どうかした？
いや、
No wonder no one said anything about his sunglasses. I was wondering about that.
あいつはシャアじゃない。 なんだ一体。
I'm surprised he isn't trying to put on more of an act, at least when it comes to like his friend and whatnot. What's up?
これかドズル。例のものは結論が出たな。 MS 計画は中止。そんな、せっかくここまでこぎつけたのに。
初めてお目にかかる。
Who are you, sir?
本計画の技術顧問。
Minovsky.
俺の不愛ミノフスキーです。閣下のご指摘は全く正当ですが、ご安心ください。解決のめどはついております。ご覧のように従来型より画期的に小さくなっていて、しかも出力は落ちません。これがミノフスキー粒子を用いた流体パルスシステムです。これによって駆動がスムーズになり、能動的姿勢制御が可能になります。
では聞こう。それはいつ完成する？
本年度中には必ず。
よし。どうぞ。さっきの命令は撤回する。計画を続行しろ。
Oh, thank God for Minovsky. That's crazy to be like, oh, you already know how Minovsky particles affect things like the radars and stuff, even though that's your name. That's kind of nuts. I wonder if Isaac Newton did the same, like said the same thing, like, oh, you know how many newtons this thing exerts, and it's like, yeah, that's me. You already know. I don't know, just
これより重装行軍訓練を行う。背能装備の総重量は40キロ。これを背負ってルートを踏破し、日暮れには帰営せよ。
もうあんなに先を行くやつがいる。
I would not be able to do that. Legitimately, I would have to take a couple breaks at least.
早いな。オーバーペースじゃないのか。続いて2番。
It seems like it.
名前を言え。
生きるよ、ガルマザビ。
He can't keep up that pace. Sure can, but it doesn't seem like he can.
ザビ家の御曹司。頑張ってるな。
It's more like he's just being stubborn, if anything.
学生たちを健在地で休憩させろ。
I feel like Garma's gonna try and push through stubbornly and get himself in trouble. That Garma?
こっちへ来いよ。ここは濡れなくていいぞ。風邪をひいてへばっちゃうぞ。特に君のようなやわな坊やは。
うるさい。誰が坊や。
Yeah, he's gonna start going, huh? I thought so. I literally called it. He shouldn't, because like they said, it's gets so much more dangerous on mountains whenever there's raining or just any weather conditions. And of course, if you fall off that mountain and die, Char's probably not gonna help you just because he doesn't care. Oh, you're so lucky you're just sliding down the mountain though. You're so lucky. Are you actually gonna go for him? Oh, seems like he is. You want to get him in your debt?
笑えよ。おかしいだろ。君を出し抜こうとしてこうなった。最低だ。ザビ家のつらい星だ。
大丈夫か。
触るな。僕に指一本触るな。
You don't want to make it seem like you did it with your own knife, but yeah.
どうだ。君の宮殿だ。
I mean, to be fair, whenever we saw the two of them, Garma and Char, interacting in the original series, they got along. It seemed like they got along, except for really like towards the end, because we knew at that point when Char was going to kill Garma, that he really didn't like him or anyone from the Zabi family. He wanted them all dead. We'd already known know that by then, but just because of how much Char hates the Zabi family, I didn't really expect him to help Garma here. But I guess if he needs to, I guess since he would have been the last person to see Garma or the last person closest to him, it would have, of course, invited unnecessary suspicion onto him if he just let him die, you know? I guess it makes more sense to help him instead of just leaving him down there. Just for future prospects' sake. At least there's like there's a specific section they can check. It's not like they have to search the whole mountain.
嫌だ僕も行く歩かないと落語したことになる落語なんてザビ家の男なのにいやよくわかるよ
こちら25キロ地点全力で捜索中ですがまだ今報告が見つかった来ました2人ですシャーズナブルとガルマザビ肩を抱き合っています手を振っています2人とも笑顔です
どうしたリーノ引っ越し
寮長が部屋を買われってさ君はガルマに気に入られたらしいぜ
He's moving in.
仲良くやるんだな何がおかしいんだ
君はやっぱり坊やだルームメイトを指名するなんて他の誰にもできないザビ家の御曹司以外にはね
いや立派になったねセイラ
Ooh, Sayla! We get to see her! Finally!
アズナブルさんシャアさんはもうじき卒業でしたよね
Mm-hmm.
どうしているのか休暇だってあるだろうに一度も帰ってこない
そうなんですか
軍隊に取られたら息子は死んだようなものだと思っていたから仕方ないけど
He actually is, which is a sad part. You just don't know.
ルシパそしてキャスバル兄さん
And yeah, she would have thought CASVAL's dead
お
here.
母さん私ねお医者さんになる
Oh yeah, if you think about it, I didn't even think about it earlier. And I don't know how far of a span it would have been in terms of how long of a time frame it would have been. But shortly after finding out that her mother died, I don't know if it would have been a few days or a few months or something after that, Lucifer passes. Then shortly after Lucifer passes, she finds out that her brother died. Not finds out, but her brother goes off to join the military. And the flight there explodes, so now to her, he's dead as well. So to Sayla, she's just the last one alive of her family. Man. Oh man.
キャスバル兄さん本当に死んでしまったの
左に寄せろそこから P4 両戦射撃その間に出るぞいいか急げよ
Ooh. That's one hell of a paintball gun. Yeah, you can still fight, but if that was a real bullet, your entire vehicle would have blown up, so you can't fight anymore. I wonder how this would work exactly, because obviously, these vehicles are made to like withstand mines, like they're like anti-tank or anti-mine vehicles, but like they wouldn't be able to handle like a direct hit from a tank, I'm pretty sure, but if a misplaced round from a tank could probably be deflected by the angling on the top of the vehicle, so I wonder if they try and determine that in any way possible, or just are like, oh, you got hit by the tank, you're dead.
ハイスクールでやったルナボールの決勝さあの時もお前が先頭を走ってた
Yeah, he's trying to see. Trying to determine whether or not you were actually Char, and he just figured out that you weren't, right? Yeah, he definitely just determined that you aren't Char with that.
こちら01小隊ゼナミア P4 をダッシュしましたこれより
Sure.
発着点を観測します
火力の劣勢を計算して力を使用する奇襲攻撃で敵陣を奪いそこを観測所にして唯一の打撃力である迫撃砲を集中的に使うやる 模擬戦は諸君ら3回生の履修度の高さを判定するものであるが、おおむね可であると認める。
質問。
本来ここはそんなものを受け付ける場所ではないが、特別に聞く。言ってみろ。
ご後輩に感謝します。では、2.5
Oh,
装備において劣勢とされた我々が一体いかなる敵と戦うことを想定されていたのですか。ならば圧倒的に劣勢であるしかない我々スペースノイドの自衛軍とは、所詮コロニー側の弱さを自覚させるための理想軍隊でしかないのではありませんか。
特別に認めたのは質問だ。しかし今のは質問ではない。反抗とみなす。なんだそれは。サングラスを取れ。
自分は網膜オプシンに障害ありとの診断を受けています。ガンマ線量が一定値を超える状況下ではバイザーの使用が認められない。
very similar look that Cecilia gave Sasra after he slapped her.
軍艦殿、第一班班長ガルマサビであります。彼は好機に違反していません。バイザーを拾って間違いをお認めになるべきです。
Yeah, there's already a clear disdain between these students and new Federation soldiers. And you went ahead and just like did something like that. They obviously won't take it well. Especially when your main reasoning for smacking him was the glasses that he was allowed to be wearing. Please give him a blanket. Thank you, thank you. You can possibly give him the blanket with less murdery eyes. Oh, that thing's... Is that the Texas colony or what? Or... Yeah. They wanted independence, but they just needed a good reasoning to really push for it, to really convince the people to push. Just firing on peaceful protesters? Oh, the mobile worker? He's always fixing his hair. Just always like.
Mobile suits.
Are they picking up the debris from the Magellan class ship that crashed into the colony? I'm guessing that's what they're doing. Oh.
ズムシティの鎮圧に向かうんだ。鎮圧？治安部隊が発砲したらしい。発砲？
Yeah, I'm pretty. This isn't the Texas colony, like I said earlier. Obviously not.
沈めろギレン。聞いているのか。
もちろん。ただここは今少し静観していいか。
戦争になるぞ。コロニー国家が連邦に勝てるわけがない。
さあ、それはやってみなければわかりません。
ガーディアン番地の駐屯軍が動くのだ。そして忘れるな。あそこにはガルマがおるのだぞ。いいか、イレン。ガルマにもしものことがあったら、その時は許さんぞ。わしは。
Yeah, Garen doesn't care as much about Garma as Dagwin does. his lackeys, bro.
連邦軍兵を攻撃。
そうだ。奇襲して制圧、武装解除させる。奴らは全く無警戒だ。今ならできる。
そんな。
君なら。
It makes sense.
君はトップだ。士官学校の輝ける星だ。
シャア。
今その部隊はズムシティで市民を殺戮している。同じように今いる残りの部隊も送り込まれたらどうなる。ザビ家の男だというなら黙って見過ごすことなどできないはずだ。見てくれ。これが駐屯地の見取り図だ。駐屯地には一個連隊がいる。しかし一個大隊はすでにズムシティに行っているから残りは大体2つ2000人。
我々の10倍だ。
挟んで反対側に兵器庫、重機格納庫。これらを攻撃目標の ABCD とする。
驚いたな。いつの間にそんな。
感心なんかするなよ。あと一つはドズル校長。
兄はいい人だ。話せば分かって。
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
君は自分の手で歴史の歯車を回してみたくないのか。
But he's gonna try and convince Garma and not tell him so Garma can take the credit for it.
リを置け。全員出る。即答だ。クムランなんか泣いていたよ。あいつの親父、農業区で死んでいるからな。領官に気づかれるな。
I feel like Char's definitely gonna do something to that. CASVAL is gonna do something to that guy that was apparently Char's friend. Because when he finds out that the real Char is dead, man, he already knows that this isn't Char too.
シャア、来てくれ。このフックが変だ。うまく。ありがとう。
ゼナがやってくれるそうだ。
すまないな。とても重い任務だが君ならきっとできる。
私も戦闘に参加したいのですけど、そういうことでしたら。
What you doing?
シャア。晴れて出撃かい。演習の時に言ったルナボールの決勝な。そんな試合はなかった。テキサスコロニーのエドワウマスがシャトルの事故で死んだこと。彼がシャーズナブルとそっくりで、ただその目が澄んだ青い瞳だったこと。大君の維持、キャスバルレム大君と同じ青い。帰ってきてくれたんだね、キャスバル。大丈夫。このことは秘密にする。信じてくれ、キャスバル。僕は仲間だ。大君を毒殺したザビ家は打倒すべきだと思っている。身分を隠し続けるなら、その青い瞳は危険すぎる。これはルナボールで使うヘッドギアを改造したんだ。どの道
Where he got his infamous mask thing?
不便だろ。
どうだい。似合うかな。
Of course it does.
最高だよ、さあ。
そうかい。感謝するよ、リーノ。
But I'm wondering how Lino got so much info because obviously the Zabi family knew that Char was going. I'm guessing they stopped checking in on him because they just thought he was dead after they blew up the space shuttle. But yeah, I'm guessing it's just because no one else was really looking into it, which is why no one else figured it out. But he not only got a lot of info on Eduardo Mas that had been on that space shuttle that had died, that looked exactly like Shar as Nabu, looked exactly like him. Not only they looked exactly like him, about the blue eyes, and then how do you know that Eduardo Mas was CASVAL? That's another thing, because that was also another hidden identity. He's pretty much like 2 hidden identities deep right now. And so the fact that he was able to figure that out, I wonder how who are this guy's sources to be able to tell him all that.
思い出してくれ。なぜここに入港したのか。軍人を志したのか。スペースノイドの生命。
Damn.
権利と財産を守るためだった。連邦軍駐屯部隊を治安出動させてはならない。ズムシティの市民を殺させてはならない。これは反乱ではない。そうだろうみんな。
そうだ坊ちゃん、君もくじけるなよ。
分かっている。
Yeah, he is very charismatic.
当たったら死ぬんだ。我々のうち何人かが確実に。それでもいいんだな。よし、撃だ。
That's one thing Garm's been good at. He's not the best strategist, he's not the best physically capable person, but he is good at rallying people together.
悩みからカウンセラーの仕事だが
She's already in?
失礼いたします。私はここで結構です。
まあいい。なんだ悩みというのは。じゃあなんだ。
実は閣下のお時間がいただきたいのです。
俺の時間。なんだあれは。
I feel like those shouldn't have caused the glass to shake, especially with the concrete floors, roads, and everything.
3回生の学生隊が緊急出動。
モズル大佐、学生たちの暴発です。開けてください。止めないと。サマラは。誰が指図をした。先導しているのは誰だ。
ガルマ様です。ガルマ様が
Mm-hmm.
敵を飛ばされたのです。
ガルマが。
The meek little Garma. I like how whenever he's shocked, he's always like stumbles around like just in pure confusion.
よし、作戦開始だ。撃て。我々は突入する。
攻略者。て
Oh, they put claymores outside every entrance. It don't make sense, but yeah.
住宅へ応戦しろ。連隊長命令だ。戦車を出せ。
Yep.
司令塔に命中。兵器庫に火が入った。司令塔にシャアを突入させろ。
Oh, that was so graphic there. They showed so much more than I thought they would.
ガルマさんが司令塔に突入しろと。
分かっている。いいの。
おう。
あの61を奪い取れ。君は特殊車両操縦評価 A だったはずだ。僕は司令塔へ急ぐ。
わかった。任せろ。
頼む。2人の専用通信チャンネルはマルヒとマルだ。
Switching comm channels so that other people want to hear him speak over the comms.
なんも見えねえ。
Oh. Oh my gosh, even for my ears, damn. Nice. Oh, now he's made himself the prime target for enemy tanks. This is what you can do to him. This is what you're gonna do to Lino. He commandeered a tank. You're gonna tell everyone that it's an enemy tank, and since he's on a comm specifically to the two of you, no one else is gonna hear him calling for help. So now your own teammates are pretty much gonna kill him. He's such a piece of work, man. He really is.
連隊長殿ですね。失礼ながら降伏なさるべきです。
ガルマザビの指揮のもと、士官学校の学生204
Yep.
名の
Garmazabi took credit, like I said earlier.
治安部隊を武装解除させた。
He looks tired. Those really is my favorite of the Zabi family. Mm-hmm.
だが、この事件は人類最大の悲劇、世に言う一年戦争の発端となる。
Yeah, I bet.
実にいい色だ。
Yeah. That's why I decided to make everything red. Your mobile suit, your normal suit, your mobile suit, your head, you may as well dye your hair at that point, bro. Over the last couple episodes, I gotta be honest, for me, my rapport with, or how I viewed CASVAL was improving, to be honest, over the last two episodes of The Origin, because I really didn't like him after he pretty much killed Garma in the original series. However, over the course of these two episodes, I was like, okay, I'm starting to understand him a bit more. I'm starting to see where he, like, his thought process a bit more, like where he was coming from when he did that to Garma. So what I thought of him was getting better. I saw him in a different light. After what he did to Char, with pretty much swapping places with him, knowingly swapping places with him, even though he knew that the zombie family were not only watching him, but they were going to kill him when he was trying to leave the Texas colony, pretty much sacrificing Char so that he could go to the military academy himself and soon his papers as well. And not only that, but what he did to Lino, because Lino knew his real identity, so he just set him up in their own private comms and in an enemy tank that he told him to commandeer because he knew that he was skilled enough to do so, just so that your own, like, peers, your own fellow students, your own fellow, so that your own friends can unknowingly kill him, thinking it was just another enemy tank. Man, the thing was, Lino would have followed him. He would have been loyal to CASVAL, to Zeonzum Daikun's family, pretty much. But he just had to get rid of him just because he knew his identity. Oh man, this song's beautiful, by the way. It's a beautiful song. Their whole plan for taking out those 2,000 Federation soldiers by sneak attacking them at night. The one girl, I forgot her name, distracting Dalzel so that they could go in there unnoticed and essentially wipe out. I'm guessing they wiped out majority of those Federation forces, and the rest that were left, forcing them to surrender. That was expertly done. They were completely unaware, unexpected. Yeah, I noticed there was something at the end of the episode too. Yashima Heavy Industrial. Wasn't that Mirai's company or her dad's?
ルナ2だ。スペースコロニー建造の資材調達のために運ばれてきた。ラグランジェ3に新しいサイトを建設するための起点となったわけだが、以後コロニー計画が凍結されて宝の持ち腐れになってしまった。サイド7だ。
まだ作りかけなんだ。
次の人。
アムロレイ、13歳です。
開発者の息子さん。
いい友達を作れ。頑張って。あれでもレイ主任のせがれかと人から言われないようにしろ。いいな。
ゲートオープンです。気圧差によって若干の風が生じます。
ここがサイド7。
Even though it's still under construction, it's oddly beautiful. Okay, that's the end of that episode. But yeah, like someone mentioned in one of the comments how Amado's dad does care about Amado. It's just that he was so focused with the military, and how for him working on with the military and on the Gundam was a way to help save his family, and with the whole 1-year war going on. But yeah, I like how even in this small section at the end of this episode, you could see how Amado's dad does care about him, because when we saw him in the original series, he was more, I don't even want to speak too much about how he felt about Amado, because I know I said about how he focused more on, in the past, how he always like focused more on his work and kind of neglected Amado. But like I said, someone in the comments mentioned how him working on the Gundam and in the military was a way for him to save Amado and his family, or try to. And even here you get to see how it does look like he cares about Amado. And the times that we do see him in the original series, they aren't in the best of times, you know? The first time we see him was when Side 7 was under attack and it was destroyed. So obviously we can't really see how much he cares about his son in a situation like that. Like how nurturing he could be, how much he really loves him, because it's like, it was just not a good time for that, especially since he didn't even know where he was, and he was just trying to, like he told him when he told him to get on the white base, he was just trying to get him to safety. And then the time we saw him after that, it was when his mind was already long gone due to oxygen deprivation. So it was like, couldn't even really determine how he was in real life, but I just determined him to be a neglectful parent because just that's what it seemed like to me. It seemed like he cared more about his work than his son, but those two just happened to coincide in a way that him focusing so much on his work was his way of trying to care for his family, you know. But yeah, continuing on with the rest of this episode. Oh yeah, this episode started off with CASVAL essentially sacrificing Char in order for him to take his identity, go to the military school, and stay hidden from the zombie family because he knew that they were following him. He knew that they were spying on him. Not only from here, but from the previous episode when he confronted the guy at the restaurant, at the bar, the restaurant that they were at. So he knew that they were already watching him. So the rest of the zombie family essentially thinks he's dead, so they don't have a reason to keep searching for him, which is why his identity wasn't exposed. We do find out in the original series that Caecilian knew that Char's Nabo was CASVAL, but that's much later, like towards the end of the series, so we don't know exactly, like, or I don't know. I'm not going to speak for we because you guys know a lot more than I do, but I don't know when she would have figured that out, if that was during the 1 year war. Well, obviously it would have been during the 1 year war, but yeah, when exactly would have happened. This whole section of them being at school was essentially us seeing how CASVAL and Garma got to why Garma grew to like or lean on CASVAL so much. Because like we saw in the original series, they obviously got along. Yeah, got along. Garma thought that he was like genuinely his best friend in the whole solar system, the whole world. I'm not going to say the whole world because they're past the world, the whole solar system, the whole galaxy. He thought it was his best friend, that he could trust him with anything pretty much. Like how he saw Garma telling him classified information on the mobile suits, on the mobile workers, how we saw them just getting along, and how Garma would pretty much follow anything that Char said because of how reliable he is. Like with the strategy here to take down all those Federation soldiers, the 2 battalions worth of 2,000 soldiers, and how in the original series, it was Char's strategy to put Garma in the spot for him to essentially die, and Garma followed him thinking, okay, yeah, this strategy makes sense. Unknowingly, Char was just setting him up for his own death there. It's interesting how we got to see not only how we're getting to see like the steps leading up to the development of the mobile suit, which in this case, I don't know if the first mobile suit developed would have been the Zaku. It seems like it's leading to that. We also got to meet the man himself, Mr. Minovsky, and we get to see how he's developing a new fusion reactor, which is what powers the mobile suits, which is why whenever they explode, whenever they're destroyed and explode, they leave such a massive explosion, you know? Because obviously I thought it was because of how much energy it just take to power one of these things, you know? But it's a fusion reactor, so no wonder it's such a big explosion. If anything, I feel like the explosion is kind of underselling. I feel like it would probably be a much bigger explosion than what they show in these series if it's actually a fusion reactor. Okay, here's the part where Char saved Garma in the training exercise. Here, I fully believed Char was probably just going to leave him for dead. Obviously, that was kind of just me just thinking of just Char's emotions, I guess. In my opinion, from what I know about him, he fully wanted him to just leave him for dead. I'm pretty sure he originally went down this mountain to look for Garma to check if he was dead. And when he confirmed that he was still alive, he couldn't really kill him, in my opinion, in a way that wouldn't make it seem suspicious. Because he would have been the last person to see Garma, and everyone knew that they were essentially tied, and just like Garma was like right behind him the whole way throughout this exercise. So it makes sense to save Garma in order to get information out of him, or to, like we saw with the ending of this episode, lead a whole attack. But instead of taking the credit and making himself seem and bring so much unwanted attention onto himself, he just pushes all that attention over to Garma. Then he can keep going unnoticed while Garma is hailed as this hero. Yeah, like I said earlier with Sayla and Mr. Mass, I forgot what his actual name is. Oh, they just call him Mr. Aznable. It's sad to see because Mr. Aznable thinks that his son just doesn't care about him. Well, not so much doesn't care about him, or just doesn't care about him enough to come home ever since he left to go to the military academy. So for him, it's like, oh, my son's so obsessed with the military. I'd never wanted him to go to that or to join the military. After all these years that he spent there, he's had multiple breaks. He's had multiple chances to come back home to see his family again, and he just hasn't seen his son for years, fully thinking that his son just doesn't care. And as for Sayla, she thinks her entire family's dead, that she's the last one alive. Her dad obviously died. They saw the body. Her mom dead. They got a letter letting them know about it from, I'm pretty sure it would have been from Hamon that would have sent up the letter. And her brother, she thinks he died on that space shuttle that blew up literally like immediately after they left off to go to the military academy. Obviously, she seems to be doing fine now. We don't know how long it would have taken for her to recover. I don't know how long it would have taken for her to deal with the emotions of all that, because I feel like all of that occurred over the span of a couple months, in my opinion. Obviously, from her dad's death to her mother's death would have been a few years. But from her mother's death to CASVAL's death, in quotes, because he's not actually dead, I'm pretty sure that would have been a couple months. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, at least she seems to be doing good. We got to see more of this exercise, which obviously set us up to seeing how they would handle the later battle between all the students and the Federation people. It was kind of foreshadowing here. Oh yeah, here, when they were all not huddled up but standing here, and this Federation soldier guy was pretty much made to pick up these sunglasses. It's like, they know that tensions are rising between not just Space Noids, but more specifically Xeon. These guys know that the tensions are rising. These guys don't really like you guys too much. You should know that at this point. They should have known. So when he gave Sharp permission to ask the question, he asked the questions, and then he was like, I'd call that insubordination. And then he, instead of just like reprimanding him for the insubordination that he spoke of, he went in and tried to make Char seem like the bad guy, not for the insubordination, but for the sunglasses. So something that he is technically allowed to wear, and he was given permission to wear due to his supposed eye condition that he spoke of, and then smacked him for that. Yeah, that's on you, man. That's on you. You just, oh yeah, I completely forgot about this too. This Magellan class crashing into the Musai here, which then ended up leading to the Magellan crashing into the side itself, or the colony itself. Man, if that Magellan class ship just decided to wait a bit, because this Musai was on the way out, it was already leaving. If you waited like maybe a minute at most, 30 seconds at most, and realistically 30 seconds at most, he would have been long gone. He would have been able to go in just fine. Like that's fully, in my opinion, on the Magellan class ship for trying to unnecessarily just throw their weight around and just trying to tell that Musai what to do. which of course led to Zeon declaring independence and these riots where the Federation soldiers opened up fire on peaceful protesters, which, yeah, no, like, that's insane. These guys were just pretty much marching down the road with signs, just protesting, and you open fire on them. Who gave this order? Because General Revel wouldn't have done that. From what I've seen of him in the original series and here, he seems like a perfectly fine guy. He seems like a good guy. So whoever gave that order needs to be in the ground. Yeah, we also get to see between this conversation between Dagwin and Giran how much Dagwin cares about Garma, which we get to see that, of course, in the original series, but it's nice we get to see it some more here. Not only that, but since they managed to take out the Federation soldiers that were pretty much there with them in the military academy, Dagwin and Giran no longer have to worry about Garma being potentially taken hostage, since they pretty much have all of that, since those soldiers are done for. So they could go more on the attack, in my opinion. And yeah, this whole fight here at the end was insane. I was not expecting it to be... It wasn't like super graphic, because it didn't show people getting torn apart, didn't show like their organs falling out of them and whatnot. But it showed more than I thought it would, if I'm being honest. Obviously, with how much with like me having watched the original series, also watching Zeta and this, of course I know that they show a lot, but there's some stuff I didn't. It's just like some shots, I don't know why I didn't expect him to show it, like when the personnel carrier aimed its gun at the one guy that was in the window and shot him, and it showed him getting shot and the blood coming out of him. I just wasn't expecting that. I was expecting more so like a building crumbling than them going down, or maybe just smoke covering it up. Overall, at the end of this episode, Char's repertoire with me was, even though it was going up over the last 2 episodes, it just went right back down. And it is also still going up a little, though. It like went down here in Origin, but his repertoire with me is still going up a bit because of how he is in Zeta Gundam. Like the way he is there in Zeta Gundam with Camille, it's also showing me how he is in a new light. But that's also just like Char in the future after he's already taken revenge. So anyways, moving on from all that, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, these episodes come out about a week earlier on Patreon. If you want to catch it there early, it'll be on there, along with most of Zeta Gundam episodes coming out early, Redline, manga manhwas, Aria, and you know the rest. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed. This has been episode 3 of Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin, and I hope I'll see you guys next time for episode 4.